Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode where we will be discussing on smart investing and wealth creation. In a world where markets are moving at a very fast pace and investments are there across everywhere opportunities, the right guidance is very necessary, and that is where our Das Capital Private Limited comes into the picture, wherein they are helping investors in long-term wealth creation with strategic approach. Today we will go into the philosophy of how they have been creating wealth over a longer period of time for their investors. Myself, JCI, your host for the day, and we have along with us a very special guest, Das Capital Private Limited. I welcome you, sir, for the session.
Good evening.
Hi, sir. Good evening, sir. First of all, I would like to know from you, how did your journey of Das Capital from setting up till here, your success journey, you can let our audience know, sir.
See, when we started way back in 2008, equity was primarily a very esoteric asset, right? Most people thought it was very complicated. And then in our journey now, equity from becoming a very complicated asset class has become a household name where even a layman can actually invest through an SIP. So I think that's the journey. So our aim when we set up Das Capital was to simplify finance, demystify investing, and so we've been able to do that. And also I think the market and technology innovations over the last 2 decades has actually helped this asset class reach to a wider audience or a wider public. But I think there are miles to go. I think the journey just started, so we have much more to go.
Yes. So now, as I looked into, there are a lot of investment opportunities and a lot of confusion among the investors, which scheme to choose, what to choose, where to go. So how do you simplify that as Das Capital, sir?
See, the choice is basically, it's a very individual thing, right? So it is not like that, if somebody tells you something or an Instagram post has come or you watch a reel and you go buy that. So that is why people get confused. So the idea is that you have to basically marry your goals as well as your personal needs to your investment objective. So basically your objective has to match with where you want to put. So once there is a alignment of your objective and your goals, then a product can be fit into that framework. You don't start with the product and then you go to the end results. You actually pick what you want, what you need from the particular investment vehicle, and then you retrofit the product to that. So like somebody wants growth, then you buy equity. If somebody wants income, then you do a combination of equity and fixed income. Or somebody wants pure safety, then you go at fixed safety, right, as a fixed income option. Or you can add gold and other stuff into it. So that's how you simplify.
So next is, what are the biggest mistakes that you feel today's investors are doing while investing into the markets?
It's a very tough question, but see, it's not that everybody, all of us are perfect, but most mistakes are trying to find the best investment option there is. There is never a best investment option. Like usually people are so obsessed with finding the best scheme, the top performing scheme. So I think that's one of the primary mistakes, because you should never go behind the best. You should look at consistent performance and performance over many cycles. So that is where people, and also the focus has to be not on the best product, but how long you are staying in that product. Because you make money only if you stay. The longer you stay, more money you make. I think that's the primary mistake people do, trying to chase the best.
So next is, how do you structure or create a customer's portfolio? As in, what are the factors that you consider before recommending any particular investment strategy to them actually?
I mentioned earlier, so every customer is unique. Right? Say for example, like you are unique or your friend is unique. So you basically do a risk profile, and then you understand why are they with you, why they have come, is there a pressing need. Sometimes somebody just started, so he wants to build a wealth, or there is somebody who's already has a inheritance or a one-time income which he wants to kind of protect and grow. So first you understand the risk profile, and then after that you kind of find the proper asset allocation, and then you drive forward. So the basic idea is to understand the individual's risk and the goal as to what they need to achieve from an investment product. Post that is somewhere that's the way we do it.
Okay. So as you were mentioning about risk profiling, so one of the biggest thing in investment journey is risk profiling or risk management.
Right.
So how do you do it at Das Capital? How do you minimize the risk for the customers?
See, the primary thing is about containing losses, right? So equity always provides upside. For example, if somebody has to invest in equity, upsides are given in equity. The problem is how to contain the loss. So if you minimize your downside, upside the market takes care of, right? So how do you minimize the downside? So first of all, you do an asset allocation. So basically look at the person's profile, risk profile, and then you create an asset allocation, and don't use normal benchmarks to do asset allocation. So sometimes most people say 100 minus your age should be your equity component in a portfolio, which is actually not right. Because if someone who's 85 years, he has no liquidity requirements, so he can have all his money in equity, right? So it's a very nuanced approach of asset allocation. First is asset allocation and then diversification, right? You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you do a layered portfolio in such a that something like a core and a satellite. So all of that is diverse. So that you have enough weightage. You don't over diversify also. So you have the right blend of diversification where you have enough weightage in best performing assets, and also so that in such a way that the risk is minimum in the portfolio.
So one small advice or tip, if you can give it to our young investors who are looking to start their investment journey actually.
See, the young investors, the first thing is start as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate. The second one is all of us, whether you're salaried or you get pocket money or a businessman, most of us invest after we spend. I think what a young investor should do is first invest, then spend whatever is left. Only then, so then because that is what brings in discipline. So investing is all about being disciplined and staying through the entire journey. So by doing this, the discipline part is taken care of.
So thank you so much for this insight. It was such an insightful episode where it will be helping our investors with not just chasing returns, which is actually their mindset as in I have to make the maximum returns, but rather than that we can go through a right guidance, strategy, and long term is what we can understand with this.
Right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's not always about the product. It's not what you choose, but it's how long you hold something. That's what makes money in equity. And you have to be resilient, and endurance is the key. So you need to invest across cycles to make money.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. It was great meeting you, sir.
Thank you, pleasure.
Sure.